I want to break down 5 things Aussies commonly get wrong about Indians. And what's interesting is most Australians who believe them are actually good people. These misconceptions make sense. I have been living in Australia for over a decade now, and in this time, I've had hundreds of conversations with Aussies about Indian culture. I've noticed something. There are 5 misconceptions that keep coming up, things Australians believe about Indians that are not quite right. And what's interesting is most Australians who believe them are actually good people. These misconceptions make sense. They come from limited exposure, media stereotypes, and honestly, sometimes from Indians whom they meet who don't represent the whole picture. Today, I want to break down 5 things Aussies commonly get wrong about Indians. If you're an Australian watching this, I promise this isn't an attack, it's a bridge. By the end of this video, you'll understand us better. And if you're an Indian, you'll probably recognize these and nod along. So let's think again about what Australians assume about Indian culture. Misconception number 1: all Indians are the same. This is the big one. From the outside, Indian looks like one thing: one culture, one language, one way of life. But here's the reality: India has 1.4 billion people, 28 states, 22 official languages, 6 major religions, and thousands of distinct cultures. The difference between someone from Punjab and someone from Tamil Nadu can be bigger than the difference between an Australian and an Italian. Different language, different food, different customs, and different values. Our festivals, our social norms, even our humor is completely different from someone from a different state. But here's what often happens in Australia: an Aussie meets an Indian person, often a colleague from work who might be from Delhi, and that person suddenly becomes a blueprint or a template for 1.4 billion people, which is where the confusion comes from. Somebody would meet me and they would say, "Oh, you're from Punjab, but you don't wear a turban. Oh, you're from India and you eat meat. I thought all Indians were vegetarian." Well, yes, I eat meat, and I also use the internet. This assumption of sameness erases an incredible amount of diversity. It's assuming all Europeans are the same because they are all white. Germans aren't Greek, and Punjabis aren't Tamilians. So, why does this misconception exist? Simple reason: limited exposure. We get a majority of references from the internet, movies, and pop culture. Most Australians have met a handful of Indian themselves. That's not enough to provide them the whole picture or the whole spectrum. That's not malice, it's just simple statistics. So, here's what I'd ask: when you meet an Indian, don't assume they represent whole India. Ask them where they're from. Ask them what language they speak at home. Ask them what their background is, their culture, or their festivals. You'll quickly realize we're not a monolith. We're a subcontinent of difference, and that diversity is one of India's strongest strengths. Misconception number 2: arranged marriage means forced marriage. I hear this one all the time. Someone finds out that an Indian couple has had an arranged marriage and they immediately go, "Oh my god, your parents forced you to marry. Did you even meet them first?" That is so backward. Okay, let's slow this down a bit. Because this is where language really matters. Forced marriage is where someone is married against their will, which is wrong. It's abuse. And yes, it does happen in some communities, including some Indian ones as well. I am not defending that. But arranged marriage in most Indian families is something very different. It's closer to assisted matchmaking. Typically, family members would introduce potential matches. You would talk to the person, you would meet the person, spend time with them, and often date them. Yes, date them as well. And then you decide. You have the option to say no. And many people say no multiple times. The family merely facilitates the introduction. The choice was always theirs. Now, is there family pressure sometimes? Yes. Are there cultural expectations? Absolutely. Does the pressure occasionally cross into coercion? Unfortunately, yes. But there's a difference between forced marriage, where there is no choice, heavily pressured arrangements, where choice exists but it is influenced, assisted arrangements, where family helps but you decide, and love marriages with family's approval, where you choose and family just gives their blessings. Most modern arranged marriages sit right in the middle. It's not that your parents pick and you obey. It's your parents introduce and you take it from there. Think of it this way: in Australia, you might meet your partner on a dating app. An algorithm filters people based on compatibility. In arranged marriages, family does that filtering for you. Both involve choice, both involve getting to know someone. The difference is who gets to screen first. I'm not saying arranged marriages is better or worse than love marriages. I'm just saying it's more complex than the word forced. And when you collapse into that one word, you end up judging millions of couples who have actively chosen this path and are actually happy with it. Misconception number three: Indian food is always spicy. This is one of the first things Australians tell me. I love Indian food, but I can't handle the spice. But here's the thing: Indian food isn't meant to be spicy, it's meant to be flavored. When Indians talk about spice, we're talking about cumin, coriander, turmeric, cardamom, etc., which gives us aroma, depth, and balance, not just chili heat. Chili is actually a relatively recent addition to Indian cuisine. It came through trade, not tradition. Many Indian dishes are mild to medium. Some are even sweet. But what Australians usually experience Indian food is restaurant Indian food. And restaurant food, especially outside India, is exaggerated. It has more oil, more chili, more intensity. Why? Because restaurants adapt to expectations. People come in expecting spicy Indian food, so that's what they get served. At home, most Indian families eat food that's far gentler. If we cooked the way Indian restaurants do, we would be sick every day. And here's where the stereotypes form. Somebody would have eaten a hot butter chicken or a vindaloo, and suddenly all Indian food is too spicy. It's like eating one American burger and deciding that all Western food is greasy. The issue isn't the spice, it's the translation. Misconception number four: Indians don't integrate. I hear this one a lot, and I see a lot of hate regarding this particular misconception online. I see a lot of they stick with their own, they don't make Australian friends, they're trying to make Australia the new India. But let's pause and ask a basic question: what does integration actually mean? Because it could mean different things to different people. For many Aussies, integration looks social. It's the pub culture, the footy, the barbecues, the friend groups. But here's what most Indians are doing: working in Australian companies, paying Australian taxes, following the Australian laws, sending their kids to Australian schools, and contributing economically and professionally. This is integration, just not the always visible social kind. Indians tend to integrate structurally while maintaining their cultural identity. And honestly, I think that's very normal. Just take a scenario: if an Australian is living overseas, let's say in India, they won't abandon English, they won't give up celebrating Christmas. They will integrate where it matters while keeping who they are. Indians do exactly the same. Now, the real issue people notice is this: Indians often socialize with other Indians. Why? Because it's comfortable, because it's the human thing to do, because shared language and references feel like rest, because raising kids with cultural identity requires community. Locals often have long established social circles of their own, and breaking into them is really hard. So, what may look like lack of integration is often mutual distance. I would recommend inviting people in, being more curious in other people's life, and making space. And even after all that, you might feel that you're more comfortable with people who you already know. And that's normal, that's human nature. But if we want integration, effort has to flow both ways. Misconception number five: all Indians are obsessed with cricket. Okay, this one's a bit lighter, but it's still a stereotype. Yes, cricket is huge in India, massive. The IPL is one of the biggest sporting events in the world. And when India plays Pakistan, the country doesn't just watch, it pauses. But here's the thing: not every Indian cares about the cricket. India has 1.4 billion people. Even if 70% of them love cricket, that still leaves us 400 million people who don't watch cricket. That's far more than the entire population of Australia, New Zealand, and the surrounding islands. Indians are also into football, especially in the states of West Bengal, Kerala, and Goa. Kabaddi has massive following. Badmintons, we have world champions there. And believe it or not, hockey is a national sport. So why does this stereotype exist? Because cricket isn't just a sport, it's a cultural connector for us. For many Indians, especially overseas, cricket becomes a way to stay connected to home, to childhood, to family conversations that happen around the television. So when Australians see Indians gathered around watching cricket, which looks like obsession, Most of the time, it's not about the game, it's about belonging. And like every stereotype in this video, it came from the same mistake, assuming one visible pattern represent everyone. So those are the five things that Aussies often get wrong about. In one, we're all the same, when in reality we're incredibly diverse. Two, that arranged marriages means forced marriages, when it's actually a spectrum. Three, that Indian food is always spicy, when it's really about the flavor, context, and translation. Four, that we don't integrate. When we do, it's just not the way you expect. And five, we're all obsessed with cricket, when for many of us, it's just a cultural sign among many. Now, I'm not sharing this to make Aussies feel bad. I'm sharing it to build understanding. Because here's the truth: stereotypes don't come from hatred, they come from limited exposure. Most Australians don't have deep friendships with the Indian community. You meet us maybe at work, in passing, maybe as neighbors. You rarely see the full picture, and hopefully, this video provides you with that. Because this is what this channel is about: not attacking any culture, not ranking one above the other, just thinking again about what we assume and building better understanding in the process. Because there is a lot of hate online, and together we can bring the temperature down a bit. If you're an Australian, tell me which misconception surprised you the most. And if you're an Indian, which misconception do you encounter the most? And if you want more content like this, examining beliefs, unpacking assumptions, and building cultural bridges, subscribe. See you in the next video.